Hi everyone, this is Sonori here from The Line Drive, and today I have got with me on the SLIC Hot Seat Business Edition the founder and managing director of Celeste Daily, Janik Jayasuriya.
Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus, driven by you.
Hi Janik.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Fine,
today?
thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so now to kick this off, Janik, your name is obviously synonymous with Celeste Daily. Ever since 2020 hit us and Celeste Daily launched, this startup was born during the pandemic to cater to the grocery needs of most of us who encountered all these hassle getting grocery and day-to-day items during the pandemic. How has the journey been so far for Celeste?
Well, it's been quite a challenge. I mean, starting up from something where I had zero experience, my entire team that worked with me had zero experience in retail, groceries, no idea about fresh produce or anything like that. But it's been a really good learning curve for us. I mean, we started off in, I think, April 2020, and from there to where we are today, we've had tremendous growth, learned quite a lot, had the team change from time to time because we had an entire hospitality team, and now we've got a little bit more of experienced individuals from the industry.
This is something I actually want to ask, which you kind of almost answered over here.
Yeah.
Like starting off in a COVID-19 pandemic, it's not easy for any business, especially any startup, because first of all, you're stuck in lockdown.
Yeah.
Then second of all, you have to make sure it's safe for your company and your employees to start. But apart from that, did you encounter any other challenges?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of challenges that we had in terms of the simplest things of trying to know how we can get produce down, being able to get permits to be able to deliver them, going around, the know-how in terms of how to handle it, finding a packaging material in the middle of a pandemic when you can't find even a bag when shops are all closed down. Trying to get your staff to get from A to B from their homes because everybody had to either get a permit to travel or we had to give them transportation because there was no public transport. Even meals had to be provided because you don't have any shops open, nobody can go in and go and buy them regular rice packets or anything like that. So it was a new challenge every day. I mean, like trying to source from packaging material to produce that we had to sell. Trying to find even hardware that we need to set up like a billing or invoicing systems, anything like that.
Yeah, talking about that, we were having a chat earlier and then I realized how much into technology Celeste Daily really depends on, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not just a matter of like when you go to a regular grocery shop and you get a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because it's a more online based business, there's a lot of technological bits that need to come together.
Yeah.
How was dealing with that? Was it easy initially?
So I've been quite interested in learning about technology from a young age, but never really had the opportunity or the requirement to get involved as much as I am right now, right? So one of the biggest issues we had, like I said, is during the pandemic, two of the aggregators who came forward and supported the entire community quite a lot were mainly a local company, PickMe and Uber, right? So when they came in, they were companies that were based for mainly food. So they didn't really have the technological background or the capacity to be able to deal with groceries. So they went from having a restaurant with 100 to 150 items all the way to a 2,500 plus SKU with a grocery store, right? So there were a lot of issues that came in terms of the number of orders because nothing was made to be able to cater to such a large number of orders in one given time. And then there was no connection between our inventory system and the Uber or PickMe inventory system. So there were difficulties in getting availability marked. So that's why a lot of customers started feeling a bit frustrated because nobody knows the story. So everybody thinks that there's a connection and it's a very simple operation to run. But today, I think 1.5 years later, I've been able to learn quite a lot about technological requirements to get this done, and it's never ending. Like, I mean, I'm still trying to learn. We're working on our e-commerce platform, which is coming up soon. So that's again another area to learn about. And yeah, looking forward to the challenges in that area.
It does sound like it was very challenging, but it also sounds like it was very fruitful
Yeah,
for you
definitely.
and the community
Yeah.
as a whole, because it's one of those businesses that actually added value to the community over here.
I hope so.
Appreciate it. So now, because it was a business that caters into groceries, you do have bigger players in the industry. Did you feel any barriers to entry from them?
Well, I mean, if you take the big names in the market, obviously we are never intending to compete with them because they've set up shop long time ago. They've got a very good operation going, and we didn't really go to lock in heads with them, right? So what I remember one day when the first lockdown started easing out, somewhere around June, July last year, I walked into a grocery store, one of the main, the big brands in Colombo. I walked in and I looked around and I saw the selection of items and how people were, even straight after a lockdown, how they were wearing their masks, walking around, touching items and getting the entire grocery basket from one place, and the availability, the experience of walking around. And I was like, this is going to be such a challenge, like going against changing the consumer behavior from this to ordering online, right? But although I was a bit worried at that point, I think nowadays people have got used to the convenience of staying at home, and it's a new market that has been created there. I mean, you might use Uber, PickMe, or this type of on-demand delivery systems as more of a top-up, where you use them in between your grocery store visits. Some people like to do their grocery store visit as a family experience, as like a therapeutic experience where you go, you enjoy the atmosphere when you're walking around, whether it's a Christmas season or whatever, you enjoy that the whole experience of shopping. So you're not going to replace your grocery visit completely by having an online presence, but it will bring in the convenience where, I mean, you just sit at home with a few clicks on your phone, straight away you get your groceries right to your doorstep. So, I mean, for us, the fear we had was, do we have to compete with them? But now we don't want to compete with them because their market is different, our market is different. Maybe someday we might be able to get into that, but right now we're happy with where we are.
Now, you were talking about one particular thing that you were worried about replacing, right?
Yeah.
The experience of shopping.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, consumer behavior is such that we feel like we are the only ones that can choose the best produce for ourselves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's why we like to go, we like to touch the items, shake the coconut, like check, break off the ends of the lady's finger to make sure we get the right one for us.
Yeah.
How do you guarantee that to your customers? How do you make your customers go like, listen, trust us, we'll make sure that you get the best produce at your doorstep?
So, I mean, when you're dealing with fresh produce, it's something that you have no control over what's inside it, or I mean, it's very difficult to guarantee that it's going to be 100%, right? So what we can do is we can guarantee that if you are unhappy, we can solve that for you immediately, right? Mm-hmm. We can't tell you that our vegetables are going to be the best and it's not going to be rotten inside or any of that, because we're not going to be able to fulfill that promise. Mm-hmm. What we can promise is, if you are unhappy with your purchase, all you do is just let us know and we would either replace it for you or refund straight away, right? But to avoid that happening, we try our best in terms of our quality checks, where when we receive the stock, who we purchase from, then the QA that is done in about 3 different stages. I mean, after doing all of that, there's still room for something to go wrong, and like you said, the lady's fingers with the tip not being fresh, those things can happen from time to time because we can't control everything 100%. But what we can do is make sure that if you are unhappy, we will take care of you straight away, which is what we're practicing at the moment.
That's excellent customer service right there.
We're trying really hard.
Now, okay, talking about customer service, you are not only in the grocery business, you're also in the hospitality business, right? Janik is also director at the Little England Cottages in Noor area, a spellbinding holiday getaway. Up until today, that I thought was a hotel, but Janik set the record straight and told me what it exactly is.
It's a gated community. So Little England is actually a real estate, property development project that was done by my family's company, which is Jason's Realty. So Jason's Realty started Little England Cottages maybe about 10-12 years ago, where we've started making these unique cottages which are quite spectacular in terms of like its architecture, the design and so on. But yeah, so now it's turning into a hospitality operation because the homeowners have given them back in for management. But yeah.
Talking about it now, hospitality was one of the industries that suffered the first and the most when it came to the pandemic. And it's still an industry that's struggling to get back on its feet. How did you overcome those challenges, and how is it going so far for you?
So, well, the whole reason why Celeste Daily kind of came up and was born is mainly because of this whole situation, right? So in 2019 December, I started taking up a challenge where I thought, okay, I want to start my own hospitality management company, and that's when I started Celeste Hospitality, right? So once that started, I had a decent team of about 25 to 30 staff. We purchased the equipment, whatever we needed, and we were just getting geared up to get into a season for the April season and so on. But that's when the pandemic hit, right? So then when that happened, yes, we were a bit discouraged for a short time, but we were able to divert the entire team and everybody to start up Celeste Daily. So I have no regrets, because at the end of the day, it opened the doors out to a completely different industry, a different knowledge base, learning something completely new. But today, what we are facing is, despite all of that, hospitality is one of the industries that are getting hampered the most, right? I mean, they suffered the most because from the biggest chain to the smallest boutique villa to even a home B&B, right? Everybody is suffering because they were gearing up to a growth in tourism in Sri Lanka, and everybody was preparing for that. And then all of a sudden, we had two very negative impact events that happened in Sri Lanka, which were completely out of our hands, right? So when this happened, it has made the entire industry suffer. And now I think today one of the things is that even the locals don't have the affordability to pay those prices, and it's becoming harder for them to operate. But I think there is a bit of a silver lining here, where things are getting better. There are tourists coming back into the country, and hopefully there's a prediction that by next year we should be able to get the hospitality industry live and kicking a bit more.
All right, so Johnny, you're running two operations, Celeste Hospitality, Celeste Daily.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage to stay on top of that? Most of us that have a 9-to-5 job are struggling to do that as well. How do you do two different industries that has two very different demands and they're both equally as demanding? How do you manage to stay on top of it?
So I try my best to have a balance, right? So in terms of hospitality, I have the help of some of my very dear friends who are also working with me, who've started up their own management tools, and they're working alongside. So they support me in terms of managing the hospitality end, and I believe in delegating and working with a group of people who can grow together, right? So I've identified a few of my friends, some people who I've taken on board to join our team, so on, who I believe have the potential to make the business grow and operate better, and also to make my life easier so that I can also have a work-life balance. I mean, that is one of the most important things for me and also for the rest of the team. I don't think anybody should be losing that balance off to a point where it's only work. And one thing that I believe in is that you work to be able to live, you don't live to work, right?
Absolutely. I think that's something everyone needs to hear.
Yeah, certainly.
And that's a very good leadership quality as well. Now, as a leader, what type of person would you say you are?
Well, with the little bit of experience that I've had managing this team, and having more experience in being in sports in my younger days, what I would say is that I've always tried to lead by example. So, I mean, from when it was hospitality, I mean, I had the luxury of being able to study hospitality management, and we learned everything from cleaning up a washroom to serving a table, cleaning the kitchen, to everything, right? So whenever I got into even hospitality, I wanted to make sure the entire staff understood that I don't tell them something purely based on the fact that I am the boss. I'm telling them because I've been there, I've done that, I know what they're doing, and I know the challenges that they face, and I'm trying to find an easier way out for them as well and make their life better as well. So that gives the respect that you need as well. And a few things that I've realized that working in Sri Lanka, you have to have a bit of a boundary in how you work with them as well, because depending on the type of caliber of the staff that you work with, you need to have that respect when you continue to work. So yeah, I think leading from the front.
Absolutely. Now, that's a very good way of looking at it all.
Thanks.
All right, now a busy man that you are, what does a typical day look like in your life, apart from, adding all these shoots in between?
So basically, during the lockdown, when I first started Celeste Daily, my day started off with waiting for the vegetable trucks to come in at 4 a.m. And then at 4 a.m. we start receiving stocks, we start processing and getting them ready for deliveries that were starting at like 7 a.m. Day ended at 9 p.m. when we finished the orders for the day, then making sure all the staff are taken care of, some had to go home, all done. And then we finished the day in accounts with whatever we had at that point, because we didn't have all the technological requirements we had at that time. And then ultimately they ended around 10:30, 11, and then back again at 4 a.m., right? So I remember that was the most stressful period for me. And I remember my parents telling me, stop, like, this is not going to work out. As much as they encouraged me and helped me a lot, they didn't want me to go through so much trouble. But from that, what I thought is, okay, I'm going to go through all the trouble that I need to learn and get hands-on with it, but it has to get better. So now it has come to a point where I actually try to have a balance where I have enough time to go to the gym in the morning, which obviously had to start recently. I couldn't do it for some time, but I start my day with going for a workout. I work out a high octane, so I just drop there on the way to the office, and then I go to the office afterwards, follow up with my team, whatever that has to be done, and I try to throw in a second workout or do something with some friends, social gathering. So balance the day out, because like I said, it's not always only about work. But you can't do it all the time. There has to be certain stages of your life that you have to commit to it a bit more.
I like how you said you try to fit in a second workout. I'm trying to fit in one workout every day. I wake up and I'm like, do I feel like working out? Oh, it's gloomy. No, it's not a workout, it's not a day.
Yeah. I mean, not every day. I mean, I try to do it if I can, but otherwise just do something outdoor if I could. But yeah.
Now, it might have been obvious for those of you who follow sports, but Janik obviously is a rugger, right? You played for Sri Lanka, you represented your school, St. Thomas, as well.
Yeah.
And you're also the grandson of a cinema great. Now, if you did not go into the life of a businessman, what career path would you have chosen?
Lot would expect me to say cinema, but
I thought rugger. I would expect you to be like, listen, I'm going to go represent Sri Lanka and I'm going to try and beat all the international rugger teams and maybe actually beat them.
there was a lot of thought towards it as well. But at the end of the day, I realized that Sri Lanka rugby is a professional sport. At least back then, it wasn't where it is right now. When I stopped about 2-3 years ago, but my childhood dream was to become a pilot. I would love to have something to do with aviation, and I still have a passion to do with aviation in any form possible.
Oh, that's out of left field. I did not expect that. I was like, but cinema, would you ever think of going into acting?
I would like to do it just because I want to follow my grandfather's footsteps and try it out. But maybe if I get the chance, I might try it out.
So now, you grew up in a family where business was predominant with your immediate family, right? Did you ever feel the pressure of getting into the family business, or was it just a natural progression into it?
Well, how could I put it? So my dad he's somebody who had to start from scratch, right? I mean, he has been through the entire mill from starting. I think he initially started off, he was meant to join the army. His dream was to get into the army. Then when he couldn't get into the army back then, he started off with like a batik boutique sort of thing. So then from there he went into travel, then from travel opened a hotel. So he has quite a journey, right? So ever since we were small, he gave us a lot of insight and used to talk to us a lot about business and the challenges he faced. So we always knew we wanted to get into business, and we didn't want to do like a job, like a 9-to-5 job, because we wanted the flexibility and to be able to work like our dad. But yes, there were times when we thought, okay, we want to have more freedom to be able to take a weekend off or travel without having to work continuously. But then again, he didn't really force us into it, but he made us feel that this is something that is there for you if you want to come and get involved in. And we never expected him to give it to us on a platter and to think that this is our entitlement. We always remembered that this is his and he worked for it, and we need to work for our own thing, and whatever he gives is his decision, and whatever he gives will only be a bonus for us. But yeah.
I think that's a very good way of looking at it, because a lot of the times people, especially people who are from successful families or the sort, tend to forget that, listen, someone else built it for them.
Yeah.
The whole life that they're living right now was given to them because someone else built their career, right?
Yeah.
And it's easy for you to take it for granted and be like, yeah, this is what I have, this is what I'm entitled to.
Yeah.
That's a very good viewpoint of looking at it, a very humble viewpoint.
I didn't have that all my life. So when I came back from university, I was expecting everything to come to me easy and so on. And it was my older brother who sat me down one day, and he was like, listen, you're not entitled to anything, right? Dad decides if he wants to give us something or not. You build up your own future, you start somewhere, And if he gives you something at some point, that's a bonus, and that's all you're going to get. And that day was my, I just woke up and I was like, whoa, it's not going to be the life I thought I'm going to have when I was small. But it was one of the best things that I realized at that point.
That's a good piece of advice your older brother gave you. Like, bring you back down to earth, like, keep you humble. I think that's what brothers are for as well.
Yeah.
They're just like, listen, don't go too high up, let's bring you back down.
He does that occasionally. He does that.
But that's a splendid piece of advice, and I think that definitely helped you because
Certainly.
you have your own business and you have your own laurels that you can rest on, and you are working towards making it bigger as well.
And the best part is you appreciate how much of work that your dad put in, right? Because I know how difficult it is to start a business, how difficult it is to get to where it is, and the amount of work and commitment and the sacrifices, right? So for my dad to come to where he was, he's been through a lot more than that. And I appreciate what he's done way more now, right?
Yeah.
So
his life at that time would have been a lot harder.
Yeah, certainly.
I mean, like the technological advances were not there and everything. So
Yeah.
The hot seat is all about getting to know the man behind the business. We got to know a little bit of Janik's family, how they are right now, especially his older brother. But let's look at a glimpse in your life. In your downtime, apart from doing 2 workouts a day, what would you usually do?
I don't do it all the time. Just make that clear.
Okay, so apart from doing that, what would you do in your free time?
Well, I like to, do a lot of adventure stuff. I try my best to travel whenever possible. I like the outdoors. Don't get to do it as much as I would love to, but I'm hoping to do it a lot more. I like to hang out with a close group of friends who I like to spend time with. I try to do whatever I could with the family and spend time with my girlfriend whenever I can.
Now there's another question that I can't answer. Because I went through your social media. There's zero evidence of anything.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah. But so I try to have a balance and make sure I spend time with my family whenever I could. And I like to kind of like wind down at the end of the day, watch a bit of Netflix, and then right now I'm finishing the last bit of Good Doctor. But yeah.
That's on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. You mentioned family life and personal life in general. As a business person, how important is it balancing the both, right? Because a lot of the times people go like, we have to work so hard right now, so that, when we are 50, 60, we can then relax. But that's not always the case, because I feel like both lives are just as important, and you do want to find that balance. So how important is that for you?
So for me, I would say it is the most important thing for me, because even if it means that the business can't be at its full potential, I don't want it to be at the risk of not being able to have my family life, right? So we have the luxury right now because my dad did that. He had to go through the hardships to get that point, sacrificed quite a lot. So we can afford to say, I want to have a balance and I'm going to know where to draw the line. Dad didn't necessarily have that luxury. He had to, go a little extra, work a little harder for him to get to where he is. So my view right now is that it should be very well balanced. I would give a little more attention towards my family and personal life, and of course not neglect the business. But I remember one thing that my second brother Tariq always said to even one of our staff. I remember, who was really addicted to his work, and he was working on Sundays, coming in the evening. He called him one day and he was like, "Listen, your kid is like 1 or 2 years old right now. You're not going to be able to get that time again. Stay at home. Even if you get a call for work, put your phone off and spend time with your family, because you're going to regret at some point that you didn't see your child grow up." So that's the sort of mentality that all of us, I think, as a family are trying to bring in, as much as it's difficult for us with the type of work that we're trying to do. But
that's a pretty good mentality. And I think for especially a country which is so family oriented as us, that the rat race is definitely getting to a lot of us. That is a very good way of looking at it. Find that balance whenever you can.
Try.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us on the hot seat and giving us a glimpse into your life. Now we know the man behind Celeste Daily and Celeste Hospitality, Janik Jayasuriya, right here with me.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me the chance to talk a bit about my life as well as Celeste.
Also, before we wrap up, one more thing. If you had to give a piece of advice to any future entrepreneurs and startup business owners, what would it be?
So one thing that I believe in is, if you truly see something that you believe in and you think it's a great idea, despite what anybody might tell you, don't give up, just give it 100%, believe in it, and find whichever way that you need to be able to fund it, whether it's through friends, family, or whatever it is. See how you can do it, and don't give up until it's impossible. And then there's no such thing as a bad idea, right? If you believe in it, I mean, something really random could become the best idea as well. Whoever thought that TikTok would be a thing, right?
I know, right? And now it's a whole new digital marketing platform.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Janik.
Okay,
It was a
thank you
pleasure
so much.
having you here.
Likewise, thank you.
Don't forget to like our page, share this video, and comment if you have any questions for Janik. And if you want to, you can always follow him on his page, Janik J, and DM him if you have any questions.
Sure.
Brought to you by Sri Lanka Insurance.
Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus, driven by you.